Hey, Peeps Galucia here, and today I am determined to actually start the construction of the actual surface house. This has been delayed time and time again, as any regular viewer knows, due to all sorts of reasons, but I got the area up here kind of built out a little bit, so I'm going to try to experiment a little bit with building some brick stuff up, and I've got some stories for you. I had some very interesting things happened to me that was causing a lot of difficulty for me to be able to record or do anything for that matter. So I'm going to try to lay it all out for you. I was home not too long ago, and I went back out on the road. The quickest update possible. I'm a truck driver for anyone that's unaware of that fact. So I go back out on the road. My very first night out, I go to do my normal thing, setting up to play and record and all that stuff. And it very quickly becomes evident that I had forgotten my charger, my laptop charger. So it was going to be nigh impossible to do just about anything on the road without a laptop charger, obviously. That was going to prove to be a very, very big problem very quickly. So this was incredibly concerning for me. I called home and got my daughter to look for it, and in fact, she did find it. So she's, yep, here it is. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. It's like one of the, like when I'm getting ready to leave the house and head out on the road, I have like a checklist, and not a physical checklist, not like an actual piece of paper, but just like in my head of like all the things that I need to successfully be out on the road and do my thing. And all of my laptop components, both for just, normal play and for recording, is part of that checklist. I want to make sure that I've got everything that I'm going to need to be successful with that. I don't know where a door is going to go yet, so we're just building the foundation. So, so that was a big concern of mine, and is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, just making sure it's all making sense here. So, I'll tell you some of the reasons for that. I have some videos I'm going to be coming out soon that will better talk about this, but for those of you that are fans of the Minecraft adventures, you kind of get the first scoop on these various things. I finally got a trucker kitty for my truck. So I've been wanting to get a cat for my truck for a while now. I've got a cat at my house named Sammy that I love very much. She's very awesome. But she's the house cat, and I don't want to take her with me on the road because I didn't want to deprive the family of being able to hang out with Sammy, especially my wife, because we have a lot of different pets. But with me on the road, obviously my wife misses me, and her and Sammy are like best friends, and they hang out all day. And so I didn't want my wife to miss me and the cat. You know what I mean? Like, that just didn't seem fair. Plus, I didn't think that Sammy would do well in the truck, and that's a trick. You have to find a cat that's good at being in the truck. So I got this cat. Her name is Stella, and she's about 2 years old, and she's super awesome, and I'll get more into her either later or on another episode or whatever. We'll see how time goes. But she's actually laying down right next to me right now. But I think because I had this cat, I was a bit distracted. I was trying to focus on everything that I needed for her to make sure that she was going to be good. This is a big transition for her. I got her from a shelter, so she's going from being in a shelter to being in a strange house because I brought her home first, and then going from being in a strange house to being in a strange, smaller house that turns out it moves, which is obviously the truck. So that was that's a lot for a cat to take in, and so she was a big part of my concern. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to make sure that she was good, that everything was good with her, and that was all working out well. So She was a big distraction, and I forgot more than just the laptop charger as well. I also forgot some very important papers that I needed. Whoops. I forgot some very important papers that I needed, and so that was a big problem as well. If they weren't like really, really important papers, then I just would have said, oh, well, but there were things that I needed, you know, like business-related things, personal-related things that I had to take care of within the next few days, or there would have been problems. So the way that it works out is I am a independent contractor. I'm going to need some ladders temporarily for now. I'm an independent contractor, so I own my own truck, and then I work for a company pulling loads for them, but it's the loads that I get are based on, like, I pick them. So it's completely up to me what I end up doing, and so I pick the loads that I want, and then I head out and do them. So the loads that I had picked out originally, I was going from the state of Washington, where I live, and I was heading out to the Salt Lake City area in Utah to deliver a load, and then I was picking up another load and coming back to Washington. But my delivery was to eastern Washington, and I live like in the northwest part of Washington, so not exactly near my house. In fact, the place I was delivering to was 200 miles from my house. So running back to my house to pick this stuff up wasn't really a logical or feasible thing to do. Obviously, I'm going to run out of brick here, and that makes me sad. So, yeah, that was not the best way to do that. But and then my next load was picking up in eastern Washington in a place called Wenatchee, and then going to Aurora, Colorado. So then I'd be really far from my house. And this was going to, you know, and then that was all the jobs I had picked up to that point. But obviously I was going to be away from the house for a very long time, and this was obviously a problem. So one of the things that I actually did was that night, the very first night, I got a cab and drove out to a nearby Walmart, and they had like a generic charger that fit my laptop made by Duracell, and you know, so I was like, all right, well, at least, you know, that's something. But man, it turned out to be just a piece of garbage. It was a really, really bad charger. It says 90 watt on the box, and it's probably about right. But the problem is, unless I was literally just sitting there and letting my laptop idle to the point where it's literally doing nothing but sitting there, I was using more than 90 watts. And clearly this generic charger was designed with really low-end laptops in mind. I mean, I knew it wouldn't work for my gaming laptop, like where I would be playing games and the charger would still be working. But it was to the point where I was actually, like, I would play a game until the battery would get low, and then I shut the laptop off, and had it plugged in so that it would charge. And I did this for like 3 hours, and it still didn't like fully charge it. So I was like, this is ridiculous. And I could only play for like 30 minutes to an hour on the battery before it runs out as well. So yeah, it was gonna make recording and things like that just literally impossible. So and again, I really needed those papers. That was actually the really important thing. The papers that I left behind were super important and things that I absolutely had to deal with. They could not wait. So I called up my the company that I drive trailers for, again, as an independent contractor, which is Schneider. I believe I've talked about them before. They're pretty cool about stuff like that as long as you give them enough notice. So I said, hey, the job that I have going from Washington to Colorado, I need to cancel that because I have to go home. Something came up and I got to get back to my house. So they were like, okay, yeah, no problem. So I dropped that job, and then I took a job that was going from sort of in the area where I was delivering. I was delivering in eastern Washington. And there was a job that was same-day delivery that was going from Oregon, about 70 miles south of the job that I originally had, to the Seattle area. So I would be a lot closer to my house. So rather than, you know, deadheading it, which is a trucker term for driving without a load, basically, rather than deadheading it, the 200 miles from Grandview, Washington towards my house, and that's diesel. I paid for the diesel in my truck, so that would have been at least $60 worth of diesel. That's an expensive trip right there just to get back to the house. I said, well, I'll take this load going from Hermiston, Oregon to the Seattle area. It's a same-day delivery. It was worth a nice little chunk of money, so that would have paid for my diesel, and I actually would have got a couple extra dollars out of the deal. So, whatever. And I was like, well, this is working out. This is fine. So I go to do that. Wow, I actually got more clay than I realized just right around my house. Last time I went looking for coal, I went really far looking for coal. It's all right here. I said coal, I meant clay. So yeah, I do that, and I get to the place in Hermiston to pick up the load. And fast forward, I'm there for over an hour of talking to various people and trying to figure out what the deal is. And it turns out that the customer that I was picking up for was canceling the load. So I was SOL. When a load is canceled like that, what they do typically is I get a small fee for the load being canceled, sorry that happened, and you get this small amount of money for that, and then let's see, how do I want to, and then that was it, and now I'm literally 300 miles from my house, just shy of 300, so pretty extreme, it's geez, I'm incredibly far from the house, and now I have to deadhead it that whole way. So I'm just a bobtail. I don't have a trailer. I left the trailer there at the customer. So yeah, that was the deal. I had to deadhead it almost 300 miles to my house, and that was pretty brutal. But it is what it is. I need to create... But I got back to the house, which is where I'm at today. I got here later yesterday, and so now I'm here, and I can get these recordings done for Minecraft Adventures and do some other things, so that's really cool. Got my charger, got my paperwork, everything is good. So that was the big dilemma that was really messing me up. So now I've got my job, so I'm only home for a day. I wasn't planning on coming home, mind you. Again, I wasn't planning on coming home. I usually go out on the road for 2 weeks at a time, but here I am. I'm at the house for an extra day. I had an extra day off. Wasn't planning on it. Normally that, would cause some issues money-wise because I need to be out there earning my monies, but it's working out. The other problem was that I have to come home on the 11th, no later than the 11th, because on the 12th, me and the wife are going to a live movie event, in the theaters, where the Riff Track guys are going to be riffing on the movie The Room, which is revered by many to be the worst movie ever made. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I bought the tickets, obviously, in advance for that, so I wanted to make sure that I was able to attend that. So I do have to get back to the house again after just a short period of time being on the road again. It's kind of jacked up, to be honest with you. But I'm making it work. And then, so I'm home today. I'm going to spend most of my time hanging out with the family, but I did want to get some Minecraft Adventures recorded and ready to go for you, the peeps. So I appreciate everyone watching and listening to my story woes of the road. And I think in the next episode of Minecraft Adventures, I'm going to do a better job of introducing Stella the cat and talking a little bit about her, and I don't know what else. We'll see. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. But, as promised, and I captured a pig, apparently, and as promised, I'm going to keep you in my house forever. You're my house pig. I have actually successfully started a physical above-ground house. So, as you can see, my idea was to go with a brick foundation, which I decided to go with the full 3-story brick thing. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 4th layer with a roof. The layer itself on the outside is going to be different than what the floors are made out of, but this is going to be a multi-storied thing. this first open room here is going to be like a big open room. I'm going to leave it as an open room, and I'm going to try to make it decorative, and then like the subsequent above floors will be more functional, like an actual house would have. But this one is going to be intended to be a more decorative floor, and also that's why I didn't put any windows in it. I just wanted it to be very decorative. I'm going to utilize the wall space and stuff like that, and then the higher up ones will have the windows, which is really where the view is going to be anyway, right? So that's the deal. I actually got it started. So when we are rejoined, I will work on this some more, and we will have some more tales from the road and tales about my new kitty, Stella. Oh, she's asleep. I'll leave her alone. So there you go. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time. Laters!